Welcome to the Pinch to Zoom podcast. I'm Stetson.
And I'm Gabe.
And in this episode, we're going to be talking about quick news, introducing a new segment called Pitch Me the Cons, and talking about what gear you need to get started on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a jam-packed episode. It's the third episode. 3's the lucky number, right? So
yeah, a lot to look forward to here.
We're going to get started fast, to get quick started into quick news. That was a quick,
Yeah, a lot of quick.
Not a very good intro.
Fast things happening.
We still are not creating an intro. I refuse because it is such a quick segment. It's over so quick that you...
Okay, the intro is getting longer than the segment. All right, get started. Here we go.
Okay, yeah. First thing is the electrification of the Ford F-150. Now, if you don't know what the Ford F-150 is, that's a very popular...
Probably not from the United States.
Yeah, most likely not from the United States. But the Ford F-150 is their most popular selling pickup truck. And in fact, trucks are one of the most popular selling vehicle types in the U.S.
Americans love their trucks.
Yeah, I mean, especially now the gas isn't too high. They say that we sell 270 pickup trucks every hour, and that's 6,500 a day in the U.S.
That's amazing.
Of just overall pickup trucks.
And these are like vehicles, something
Yes.
People keep typically for a long period of time.
Starting at like $30,000 and upwards.
That's amazing.
Specifically talking about the Ford F-Series model line, they have sold 900,000 in the last year, and in the past 60 years, over 40 million F-150s.
Wow.
So the fact that Ford is considering, pushing out an electric version of this vehicle is a huge thing. I mean, Tesla talks about, we did, 7,000 vehicles in a week they produced. That's a big milestone, but this is selling tons and tons more than what Tesla is even doing. So the fact that Ford, huge automaker, is considering doing this is...
I mean, that's huge. And how do you think truck drivers are going to take this? I've seen on Reddit, I follow our Tesla subreddit, and icing is huge. It's an issue where most commonly truck drivers will park in designated electric vehicle charging stations. How do you think they're going to react to an electric truck?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question up there. I know, though, there's also another trend called coal rolling, where they will enrich their gas mixture so much that basically the fuel doesn't get burnt and it's spitting out as like black smog out of the tailpipe. And they love to do those in front of people like that are driving Priuses and stuff like that, and just douse them in some nice quick covered like smog.
It's an interesting culture. I think this truck will sell well. I think when people look at the specs and like what kind of performance it's able to
the big thing is there
out.
is actually some good performance things. Like they're going to put a motor on each wheel, so that means that you can have really good torque on each wheel independently without having all that excess drivetrain weight in between.
Yeah, and instant torque is something people love about electric cars.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk about too much more on that because it is quick news.
On the topic of battery-powered electronics, Energizer, company you probably know for their batteries.
Yeah, they make batteries.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
No, they make phones. What?
Dun, dun, dun.
Right?
That's a Shyamalan twist right there. Yeah. I saw this news article, too, that they are about to debut 26 new phones at Mobile World Congress, which is coming up in February, I think.
Yeah, coming up sometime soon. Yeah. And there's a lot going on here. So this article brought to you by The Verge, they're making phones with 18,000 milliamp hour batteries, foldable displays, and pop-up cameras. It's like Energizer took the last 2 years, or even the last year of popular phone trends, consolidated that, and is just like spitting out a ton of phones.
It's kind of like it was a computer algorithm that looked through all the popular articles on phones, picked the most popular keywords and features, and then just said, all right, let's just make a phone for each of those.
Yep, and this is what's happening, and now Energizer will be covered in all those articles.
And yeah, I don't know if these are going to be very popular. They are all Android phones, which doesn't mean they're not going to be popular, but they're also a little cheaper phones, so I don't know. It should be interesting. They don't really have that brand recognition for smartphones.
Yeah, so. I think these will be popular more so outside the U.S., I want to say.
Probably, yeah.
I think until they're covered by some of the major tech reviewers or other people, or they're even in phones, like in stores, if they're in a Verizon store or they're in a Sprint store or T-Mobile store, maybe they'll gain some more popularity.
That's going to be key, especially getting them in stores so that carriers are pushing them.
And carriers are taking them. But until that happens, Energizer's just they're a battery company. They're not known for phones.
But I guess that's one way to market that 1800 milliamp hour battery. Tired of your phone dying? Well, we've been making batteries for about ever.
It's true. It's an interesting perspective. I'm curious to see how that pans out. Moving on to
Quick news.
Yeah, moving on to something from Apple, not the iPhone, AirPods 2. This has been a popular topic throughout.
I think we've mentioned them in every episode, some sort of rumor about them.
This is true. And in this episode, we're talking about AirPods bringing a Hey Siri support. Yeah. So this was actually revealed in iOS 12.2. There was a setup screenshot that included a interface for the rumored AirPods 2 and a Hey Siri setup screen.
Yeah. I mean, I think, we knew that was going to come as a feature. I think now this is just definitely concreting it and cementing it.
Yeah.
Concreting it. People don't say that.
Nope. You do.
Cementing it, but it's the same thing, kind of, isn't it?
I don't think concreting.
Let's just get into a little bit specifics about what cement and concrete. It's actually a 40% blend of gravel, and it is something about that. I don't know. Okay. But honestly, getting back to that, AirPods 2, I think this is really cool because it's basically integrating the whole smart speaker thing into a personalized headphone.
Yeah, I think it'll be really great. And as an Apple Watch user, having to pick the watch up and it doesn't work all the time. It's finicky. It doesn't hear very well. I think this will be really great. And I hope they're able to also improve the audio quality and make it a really great product.
Yeah, and we're likely to see those coming out, I'm guessing, probably sometimes in March, because that's when they like to do their releases. And it will likely be bundled all together with the new cheaper iPads, the new iPod Touch there's a new iPod Touch, right? You thought they were going to discontinue that? No, it's still coming. And also possibly the AirPower charging mats.
Yep. So that'll be something to look forward to as well.
Mark that on your calendar. March. The Ides of March. Et tu, Brutus? Go! Stabbed me with the new iPod Touch. Coming from Apple this March. I don't know. Anyways. Quick news.
Moving on, we have this is huge social media wise. Vine is coming back in the form of Byte. So,
wait, can you say that again? Because that was about 6 seconds.
Yeah, Vine is coming back in the form of Byte.
Vine is coming back I was just trying to do it like a Vine that keeps looping,
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't really use the platform.
It doesn't play well over audio since Vine was a visual medium. So
this is true. They're well known for their memes on YouTube. You can find them there. But what happened is one of the original creators, Don Hoffman, is working to bring this revival of 6-second videos.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing. I think it might be a little late because I don't know if you're familiar with the app or platform TikTok. That has kind of taken over that sort of meme-generated, viral, like, looping video style. So, I mean, maybe it'll come back, but I think they might be a little bit too late. Let Vine die, let it live on in those YouTube compilations.
Yeah. Were you a big Vine user?
I was a big Vine user in about the 9 months before it ended. So, yeah, okay. That was really super fun for me. But, yeah, I think they should just,
there may be a lot of hurdles.
I think it bit the dust, right?
Yeah.
Bite.
It's about to bite the dust.
Yeah.
We'll see. On a similar note.
Wait, give me a second.
Okay.
Quick news. There we go.
Similar note, social media, Facebook now has plans to integrate WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger. And don't be worried, this is not merging all the applications into one app. Instead, it's taking all of the back-end elements and components and creating one single infrastructure to support all of the messaging services and platforms Facebook has to offer.
Yeah, I don't know. I ultimately, it's going to really take a while to see what it actually turns out as, because it's supposed to be towards the end of this year, in like quarter 3 or 4 of 2018. So really seeing how they implement it, the UI and just the whole like flow of how you go from one app to the other, that's going to be interesting. But I've been really overall pretty satisfied with so far, like the merging between Instagram and Facebook, for example, so that you have Instagram stories that are on Facebook. That's pretty cool. It's annoying when they have like 3 different versions of the same thing, and it's the same company. So yeah, if they can do it right and not, violate people's privacy too much, that'd be good.
Yeah. And I think it'll be really helpful for them just being able to get everything on one platform on the back end.
Yeah. And yeah, streamline it and make it easier to use, hopefully. So now, and this is still quick news, but we're moving on to some new products that were launched. The first I'm going to talk about is the Sennheiser just released some new wireless microphones. Their line is called, very catchingly, or like really really easy to remember, it's called the XSW line. So
wait, what was that?
XSW.
Okay.
I almost forgot it between saying it the first time and saying it the second time.
That's how memorable it is.
But basically, they're a digital wireless solution for audio, kind of like the Rode wireless, filmmaker kits or stuff like that. However, they're actually $50 cheaper than the Rode wireless lav kit, so $350 for a lav kit, and they are a lot smaller and a lot better designed. They have USB-C charging, and they also come in XLR 1/4 inch and 35 millimeter inch variety. So, whatever you need to plug it into, you can get that version of the receiver or transmitter, and it works perfectly.
I can see these being very popular with YouTubers and other creators. Do you see yourself picking up a pair of these?
I mean, I like to have redundancy. I have about 1,000 pairs of headphones, but I think for the time being, I'm probably good with my Rode Link. We'll see, though. If reviews come out positive, I could be picking it up very quickly.
Yeah. Moving on, we have
Quick news.
Panasonic introducing the new S1 and S1R full frame cameras. This is really exciting to see from Panasonic. What we have here, 4K at 60 frames per second, 10-bit color, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
There are a few quirks and compromises, which is a little weird. So you will get a 1.09 times crop while recording at 4K 60 with the S1R, and you get also a bigger crop on the S1. And with the S1R, you do get pixel bending, which is unfortunate. But on the S1,
Pixel binning, right?
bending, yeah, excuse me.
I thought you said bending.
Yeah,
I didn't think you could bend a pixel.
well, you can now.
You can now. We're making it a thing. I already got that username on Twitter, Pixel Bending. It's actually a pretty good one, honestly.
That's interesting concept. They also have, of course, the paid software updates.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think we've seen them do it before with the GH5 and GH5S. They've had it in, whatever their newest release of software, whether it's, 422, 10-bit video for the GH5S, I think. So it's something that Panasonic likes to do. I'm not a big fan of it, but if that's what they got to do, it's pretty enticing that the S1, which is the one that's geared more towards video than the higher priced S1R, the S1 starts at $2,500 with no lens, body only, and that's pretty competitive against other mirrorless cameras on the market for full frame.
Yeah, it's reasonable. And but how do you feel basically advertising the product as being able to do these things and then having to charge extra to actually get that update?
Yeah, it's not the best business model, I think, but people are ultimately going to pay for it. If you want it, it's a way to lower the price for people who don't want it, and people who do want it are, if you want 422 10-bit 60, you're obviously doing a lot higher production value stuff and have the extra change to throw around.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and the last thing of quick news is kind of a new release, but it's GoPro actually expanded their Plus subscription service, which is, you might not even know about it. I actually personally don't use it because it's more for, your average consumer and like kind of leisurely creator who just wants to, film their vacation. But it's a pretty enticing thing for $4.99 a month. You now get unlimited video uploads at full resolution. It used to be, I think, 250 gigabytes at like downgraded resolution, which you don't want that. You want that max resolution, that good quality. But also with GoPro Plus, you get 50% off all the mounts and accessories, and also a break it, we replace it guarantee. So if you break your GoPro, they'll ship you a new one. Like, that's pretty awesome. So if you're really, if you love GoPros and you use them all the time, this is, and you don't like editing your videos, this is a good thing for you.
That's fascinating. You said, what, $5 a month?
$5 a month, yeah. So overall, 60 a year.
60 a year. That's like Xbox Live.
Yeah, and if you break a GoPro, that's now the GoPro Black $400. That's,
that seems like a great deal. Some wonderful new features to see with that.
And and automatically backs up from the camera. It connects to your Wi-Fi and can upload it right to there.
Oh, wow. That's huge convenience. Yeah. I can definitely see people going for that.
Yeah, so that's quick news. We'll have some more quick news next time coming to you quickly. And it's actually not very quick, so it's an ironically named segment, but you get it. It's fun. That's it. All right. Now, the new segment we have, Stetson.
This is really exciting. So this is an idea. Pitch me the cons. where we're going to be...
Well, can you pitch me the cons like pitch me the cons would be?
I don't know if I can do that.
Putting you on the spot.
Putting me on the spot. It's a segment where we...
I got it, I think. It's a segment where us, the podcasters, get to have a lot more fun probably than you, the listeners, by doing something that is really kind of just something I kind of sleep dreamed up while I was half awake, half asleep one time after eating a pizza. So, I was having those kind of weird sort of dreams. And I thought of this when I was like, well, what if Steve Jobs misplaced his script and instead of having all the positive things, accidentally pitched all the negative things that they're like, we have to hide this from the press about the iPhone. What would it have been? Well, that's what this is going to be, basically.
Yeah, and so we each picked products.
Yeah, one product. We're only using one product per episode.
Okay.
Because we want to pace ourselves and we don't want to overload you with too much horrible, worthless filler content that we've just created. No. But yeah, we each picked one product and we're going to pitch it to each other without telling the other what it is and without telling you what it is. So you can kind of, as we pitch it, you can try to figure out what it is.
See if you can guess.
Do you want to go first? Or?
Yeah, I can. I have a really horrible product lined up for you. It's a kind of a laptop, I guess you could say. So you can kind of think in that realm. But you can't use this laptop on your lap. And this is a great feature because it forces you to find an appropriate workspace where you can really sit down and get your work done. Of course, if you're on a train or something where your lap is all you got, you don't want to be doing work there. So that's a really cool feature. It has some wonderful Bluetooth pairing issues where you'll have your devices disconnecting, and that's great if you're listening to music. It adds in a new kind of vibe where you don't know what's going to happen. It's a thrill of listening. It isn't running a normal operating system, so you don't really get your full desktop applications, but it's also, you can use Android apps, so it's kind of like a phone in that sense, but you don't get you get mobile optimized apps, but it's kind of a computer. Okay, that just feels weird. Ooh, this is a quote from a Marquez Brownlee review. It is Lag City, population, this product. It's chunky, it's expensive, and it's from one of the biggest companies in the United States. We were expecting more.
I don't know. I was originally thinking, I know it's a tablet, crossover of some kind.
Okay, yeah.
I'm thinking, you said in the United States, so I was originally thinking it was possibly a Samsung one, but now I'm thinking it's a Microsoft product, so maybe, I don't know, the Microsoft Surface?
You're getting closer. This is from if you're going to look something up, you want to look up. Yeah.
Oh, is it a Chromebook?
This is the Pixel Slate.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, when I said Microsoft Surface, I forgot you said that whole part of Android.
Yeah.
The Pixel Slate, yes. Yep, that's a easy one to lambast.
So, and with the iPad starting at $329 for the basic one, and you want to go Pro for $800, the Pixel Slate really feels like a questionable product from Google, especially the baseline one. It comes with a Celeron processor, and some of the reviewers have really complained about the speed and performance of that particular model.
Well, it's running. Is it running Android or is it?
It's like a version of Android. It's Chrome OS.
Yeah,
but it runs Android apps.
So the thing is, isn't that Chrome OS is supposed to be very light, right? So
yeah, you would think.
Why would this be lagging so much?
I think it needs further optimization and software updates, and that's definitely something that we can look forward to. Mm-hmm. But as it stands right now, it's an attempt from Google that was a swing and a miss.
All right, so wow, that was the first one. I think that was pretty good. I think I can do it better.
Yeah, I'd love to hear your pitch, Gabe. What product do you have?
I'm tempted to, because I'm editing the podcast, I'm tempted to put in some applause and stuff for me, but I'll hold off on that. And the listener, can just imagine that or do it yourself. If you want to applaud for me because I'm just pitching that product so well, do it. But all right, let's just moment of silence, please. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are here at the Gabe Shakur's little kind of pitch together studios to introduce a brand new product. Now, this product is at times going to pretend like it's a computer. Like, for example, with pricing. You're going to pay over $1,300 for 512 gigabytes, including the keyboard as well. But guess what? Unlike that laptop, which has the nice setup where you have that touchpad down so you can rest your hands while touching the keyboard as well, you're going to have to lift your arm all the way up to the screen if you want to do some mouse-like gestures, and you're going to get some serious arm fatigue, plus not to mention a ton of smudges on that screen. Can I hear an oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Also, guess what? You think you're getting a full computer, but no, like I said, we're giving you that computer-like pricing with the mobile-like completely focused operating system and limited functionality. So yeah, maybe Adobe products, we say that they're going to be awesome with the advertising. So yeah, you're going to see these great ads that we're going to release that are going to show how many things you can do. You can film a whole Hollywood movie on this. You can do your research along the coast of Australia or wherever. You're going to do amazing stuff with it in our ads. But in reality, it's essentially just going to be a hugely overpriced entertainment display. And guess what? Accessories that are included with this? Yeah, you're going to be blown away. A 1 meter charging cord. So you can be limited to 1 meter from the nearest outlet. And guess what? You're not going to be there for only a short time because we're only including an 18-watt USB adapter. So you will be insured to be standing next to that wall outlet or wherever you're plugging in at a 1 meter radius for several hours while you're using that device. Okay, but also I'm not going to lie, we are going to have accessories you can buy after for about $50 to $60 to get those accessories. Yeah, if you want to get a new faster charger, drop that extra cheddar, send it our way. We'll gladly take it in. All in all, you're going to be spending an extra $200 to $300 probably to get this all completely outfitted with the stuff that makes it actually usable. But in all, you're going to be not doing much of the stuff that you actually intended, and you're just going to be using it for watching YouTube, Hulu, and Netflix stuff. And here's the best part. I can hear the audience gasping. Yeah, there. Thank you for the gasps. You could be getting a much cheaper version of this product for literally 3 to 4 times less of the price. $329 starting at the cheaper version. But we're going to advertise for you to get the more expensive one, and we're going to convince you through the look of it and through the ads that we put out and the overall feel of the product. You're going to feel like that more expensive product is the one for you. But in reality, you should really just stick with the cheaper one because YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, and all the little simple games that you run while going to the bathroom are going to run just fine on that cheaper product. Thank you very much, everyone.
Woo!
Yeah. All right. Now, I'm pretty sure you know what I was talking about.
Yeah, let me just pull this out of my backpack.
Yeah.
Hey, wow, the iPad Pro, shots fired. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I know that you own it and you like it. And I'm sure there are a lot of people that love this product and do actually use it like a pro device, but it is so limited in functionality.
Yeah, I'd have it with me, but the 1 meter cable just doesn't reach over here.
Exactly. And the fact you're using your MacBook, it seems like if you try to do something like a pro task, even if it's like posting something on your website, you can write it in Google Docs on your device, but then eventually you're going to have to go to your MacBook or, actual computer to end up really using it and doing the stuff that you need to do.
Excuse me, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. The iPad is just so limited in functionality, and what I would love to see from Apple is a more powerful OS. Even doing something like having 2 browser windows side by side, and it's just a hassle and a half. If they could add mouse support, that would be awesome.
I think it's ultimately, and you can probably agree with this, it's a great hardware, but it's really the software that's...
It is the software, and I've heard it's matching MacBook Pro in some performance levels and for certain tasks, and in certain instances, it is great for creatives, like having that pencil, being able to create or draw art, and I'm sure with some of the Adobe apps coming soon, it'll be awesome. But
there's definitely certain people that it is a good thing for, but like I was saying, 99% of the people are not going to need all those features and could be just fine with the lower priced iPad or iPad Mini even.
Yep, absolutely, and that still will support the Apple Pencil.
Right? So, they keep. It's like, how many different reasons can we give you to buy the cheap one but still make you buy the iPad Pro?
Yeah, unbelievable. And it's fascinating we both chose.
I know, I was going to say that too. It kind of speaks overall to how easily and how it is to attack this tablet / crossover segment.
It hasn't figured itself out yet.
And it's really, it seems, when did they release the iPad? 2011, 2012?
Something like that.
And we thought, all right, by maybe the 3rd or 4th gen, they'd get it right. And it's they keep trying. And it's ultimately, I think, if I ever got an iPad, which I'm thinking once they release these new cheap ones, to get one. It's really just for me a entertainment device, something to watch YouTube on, something to.
I think it really they need to rethink the software for the higher end pro devices for people to really be able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think well, that was Pitch Me the Cons. I think that was
that was fun. I really liked your keynote presentation style.
I went a little more like dramatic and for flair.
Yeah.
You had more specs and stuff, but that's when they do those keynotes. They're really,
right.
I mean, they bring out that one guy and they're like, all right, now let's talk about the specs quick. And then he's like, all right, get back behind your curtain, nerd. We're talking about this chromy finish and just how big that screen is.
It's matte black.
Yeah.
That's right. You want it. It's matte black.
Yeah, and you have to pay 6 times the price for that color.
Retina display.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Love the keynotes, gotta say, Apple. Thank you for that creation. But that brings that to the end. Now the main part of the segment, or this episode, which really, honestly, I don't know if it's going to be the main part. It's like kind of the third part.
The tail end?
Yeah. Is what gear you need nowadays to get started on YouTube.
Yeah, and I just want to start this off. Gabe, what gear did you use to get started on YouTube? Do you remember?
All right. So, I mean, I think I'll just preface this. It depends what you're getting started in, a lot of it. But for me, I was getting started creating music videos and incredible trick shots, like basketball trick shots, sort of stuff. So my first camera was a tiny little Kodak point and shoot camera. I think it shot maximum 1280 by 720, so it was HD but not full HD, and it was awful. And I think I didn't even shoot 16:9. I think it's 4:3 it shot aspect ratio. So really overall a horrible camera. But the thing is, you can't, as a kid, I mean, I was 13, I think, or 14 when I started shooting with it. You really can't beat that magic that you feel from being able to record something and play it back. And I think ultimately that's what people, everywhere from, Michael Bay, the high end, to down, your beginner creators with 2 subscribers on their channel and putting out videos. That's the thing that's so fun, is being able to record something and then, all right, I want it to look this way, re-record it or add some special effects, cheesy or not, or props or whatever. And yeah, you get it. So yeah, I started pretty simply. I upgraded then to I think the T4i, but I mean, I was recording my songs on a $15 Radio Shack USB mic that I stuck in like some foam in a like closet area. Like, the key is, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot here and you're just nodding at me being good by not interrupting, is that I think overall you just want to have something that works, and it works basically is the key.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that. When I was really young, it's hard as parents, like, all right, do you want to make this kind of huge investment into your kids, and how far are they really going to take this? And I think one of the best things my parents did is they got me a really cheap, terrible, like a camera with a flip out screen. It wasn't even a camera. It was like a camcorder, like when we were in that era.
Yeah.
And I would just have that on a tripod in my basement. And I made some fun home movies with it, and that kind of helped spur along my creativity.
Yeah.
And then my first real camera for me was actually my iPod Touch, fourth generation.
Yeah.
My dad and I made a tripod mount for it, and that evolved into the iPhone 5. And then, kind of like you, I ended up getting the Canon T5i as my first, all right, I should probably get a better camera kind of deal.
Yeah, I think definitely it really, I mean, going back actually even further, before I was actually posting on YouTube, because that's what I started with, the story when I was telling what I used. I mean, I remember my sister and I playing around with a mini DVD camcorder and recording like some fun, like, I don't know, we had some crazy movies of pretending to rob our house, like, oh, shh. Like, and it'd be like, I'd have the camera and recording, and we'd be like some like comedy, like hilarious.
Sorry, can you just imagine if robbers came into your house and they were trying to record the whole thing, and you're like, "What are you doing? Get out of my house!" They're like, wait,
do it for the vlog. Man.
Yeah, we got it. Can we retake? That wasn't it.
That would be pretty. Actually, that's a good idea for a channel, Stetson. I think we got a new idea that's gonna work. But yeah, I really think ultimately, I mean, I know we're both techies. We're both obsessed with the latest tech, the greatest tech. But when it comes down to it, as a creator, yes, it's awesome to have the latest tools, and the stuff that's going to give you the best resolution, the best dynamic range. But ultimately, when you're starting off, sometimes just having some crude implements that can give you that quick feedback and, really help you hone your craft is the way to start.
Yeah. So what do you recommend for people they decided, all right, I like making videos. I want to start my YouTube channel. What do you recommend for those people?
I mean, the first thing, I know it's been said before, is a smartphone. so many people have smartphones. Almost everyone, I would say, has a smartphone nowadays. Definitely, they're expensive, but since you already have it and are using it
if
for
you're
multiple,
I mean, if it's gonna double for both
exactly.
a phone and a camera, that can be a great investment. Or if you just need it for a camera, you can. I mean, I'm huge into Swappa, right?
Yeah, use smartphones that are unlocked, so you don't have to get them on a carrier, or you can put them on a carrier if you eventually want.
And they're pretty cheap. Like you can get an iPhone 7 for like $250 or something like that. Great camera, shoots 4K. Even going back to an iPhone 6s, that shoots 4K, right? That's amazing.
And I mean, even if you end up getting a camera that only shoots 1080, because pixels really aren't anything. But yeah, definitely, I think a smartphone is the way to start out. Long run, obviously, there's a lot of limitations. But I know BuzzFeed, for example, they a while ago scrapped all their cameras, and basically they just send out their people to shoot on smartphones and like a Joby tripod.
That's amazing. I'd be interested to check those out.
Yeah.
The big thing I would recommend is focusing on audio too.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what camera you get, even if you're using an older phone. But if you get some really nice audio, that's going to make a tremendous impact on your videos. For that, I would suggest looking into the Zoom H1N. It's a very popular, handy recorder. You can pair that with a lavalier microphone, like the Audio Squid.
Or even Rode has some cheaper ones. Just connect right to your smartphone, possibly.
Yeah, even considering that. And if you wanted to consider slightly more expensive routes, the Zoom H5 or even one of the like Rode shotgun microphones that go on.
Or Tascam. I like Tascam a lot. The GR40 is. Personally, I think that's a better one for starting off. It's only like $150.
Oh, that's good.
Has 2 XLR inputs, mics on the top. I think audio, like you said, audio is a huge thing. But if you are, for example, just using, a simple camera and you do have a smartphone, one of the things I know if you're doing like interview styles or like talking like beauty products, or tech reviews where you're sitting at a place and talking, you can easily set down your iPhone, like put it in your pocket on your shirt, put it on your desk right by you, and set it the voice memos recording, and that's going to be a lot better quality in a lot of cases than the audio that's picked up by your camera several feet away.
Yeah, that's so true. And another thing is the Rode VideoMic Pro or the Shure VP83 that can actually mount on the hot shoe. Depending on what you're doing, that can be really helpful as well.
Yeah, I think so. Focusing on audio is a big thing, and ultimately also lighting. I know it's very unsexy and like it's not enticing to be like, oh, let me spend, this money that I've saved up on lighting. But lighting is a very big thing when it comes to making videos. Shooting with an iPhone in good conditions, and well lit scene versus shooting on a very good camera in a horribly lit scene. Yeah, the very good camera might be able to compensate and make it look decent, but ultimately, that iPhone is going to perform way better in a well lit scene.
And lighting can really help create a beautiful atmosphere too.
Well, a beautiful atmosphere or the atmosphere you want.
And kind of on a similar note, I spent $10 for Philips like 1600 lumen daylight bulbs, and I got really cheap.
The fluorescent like coils ones.
They weren't coils; they were just like LED bulbs.
Okay,
and very bright. They work great, and I got like really cheap. I think it's Cowboy Studio stands.
Yeah. If you go on Amazon, put in lights. I think studio lights,
something like that. Cowboy Studio. Work great. Get the job done.
Photodix, I think, or Photodix, DIX on the end. Photodix. There's a bunch of different ones. That Lumo Studio, I think. Yeah, they're very cheap, like under $100 for 2 lights, and you can get them some that hold one bulb, some that hold multiple. And they for shooting at least indoors, stationary, like studio setup, those are really good because they have the umbrellas, give you a nice diffused lighting, and it really helps.
That really helps if you're shooting yourself or a product on a table. That can really make a difference.
Yeah, and so I think ultimately, audio is huge, but lighting is also huge to make your video good. And that's, I think we're really talking in those two things kind of about stationary studio setups.
Yeah.
So if you're doing more of a cinema style shooting, where you're recording, your video and then editing in post, I think you can start as far as editing suites. Adobe Premiere is expensive because it's a, subscription. So you have to pay per month. If you're a student, you can get that student discount. But if you have a Mac, which granted that's an expensive computer, you also do have iMovie built in, which is good. And if you have Windows, maybe like Sony Vegas, is that still around?
Just get a Mac, please.
Yeah. I mean, we're a little biased because we both have Macs. You definitely can create videos using a Windows computer. There are solutions out there, but we are both heavily tied into the Mac ecosystem. So if you can afford it, really, a Mac is the way to go.
And getting iMovie for free is huge. It will work if you want to try editing on a phone or a tablet. That's an option. Yeah. But honestly, getting an older Mac, like 2015 MacBook Pro or something like that, getting iMovie is huge. It has a lot of great features, and I think it'll really help you tell the story you want to tell.
Yeah, so I mean, editing's big in that sense. As far as, I mean, we both started with Canon cameras. I think that's funny.
Yeah. And
very telling that I had put down as a list here that definitely the cheaper entry-level DSLRs. I mean, you hear a lot about mirrorless cameras nowadays, but I think as far as from between like the $400 to maybe let's say $800 range of cameras, you really can't beat those entry-level DSLRs.
Yeah, those are really good. I put down, you could consider a T5i like today. It's still a great camera.
Well, I mean, the T6i starts at $400.
Oh yeah, consider that. Even a slightly used 70D, I was seeing those on eBay for like $400 or $500, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
And some of the point and shoots too. Like, I think a point and shoot paired with really good audio will make a huge difference.
Well, I think that definitely depends on what you're shooting. If you are shooting something that requires you to have a small camera, yeah, point and shoot or, your iPhone or a GoPro is good. But if you can afford to have the space, definitely go with a DSLR, because the ability to have interchangeable lenses means that, instead of having to buy a full new camera down the road, you can instead, buy that, 250 millimeter lens that gives you that extra zoom you wanted, buy a better prime lens to get, better bokeh, better like cinema type look. And yeah, you have also hot shoe on camera usually.
Absolutely, and that's great. And Canon, they have really great colors and they look great, and a lot of great lenses as well for their cameras. And I think one of the more intuitive user interfaces for kind of changing settings and quickly on the go. They have great touchscreens for making those changes. I think they're a great camera to start out with, and definitely something to consider early on.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, as far as then the supporting gear that you need, I mean, I own 2 gimbals. I own a slider. I own several tripods. That has taken me almost 10 years to accumulate all that gear, just because it costs a lot of money. Filming stuff on like with good quality gear is very expensive. So, I mean, you can do what I did when I started, is just, find a lot of DIY stuff, find cheaper alternatives, make it work. Maybe you have to do a couple extra takes of something to get the shot right. But, if you can save that money to get it and make it look almost as good, yeah.
I think something I didn't realize early on is to get a tripod with a fluid head too. If you can afford it, find something that's reasonably priced with a fluid head. I was filming on it was like a telescoping tripod.
Yeah.
So for bird watching, and it was so janky. My pans were jittery, and I didn't really understand like what was going. How are people getting these smooth shots? And it really comes down to getting that fluid head, being able to have really great pans, and that'll really help as well.
Yeah. Now, there are a couple solutions that can help you because I think ultimately there's different ways to get a good like production value, but one of the best ways is smooth camera movement. And so as prices have dropped on products, one of the things I think is definitely something to look at is gimbals for smartphones. The DJI has the Osmo Mobile 2. That's around $140. So that's a pretty cheap price to buy something that can be everything from, something to stabilize your walking shots to almost kind of act as a video like slider, to really even a tripod or something that follows you and tracks you around as you move. So yeah, I think that's something to do. Also, the new Osmo Pocket, which is basically a camera and is tiny, so that's good for shooting on the go. But it also, super stabilized shots that even though the video quality might not be the best, the fact that it's stabilized and looks buttery smooth, that's,
It really adds.
Incredible.
It looks professional. It's great to see, and you can do so much as you said with your smartphone, and that's really amazing. And I think just getting started, figuring out what kind of content you enjoy producing, getting in the rhythm or the flow of producing content, and learning all of the software, that's another huge aspect of creating videos.
Yeah, editing is also the biggest. I would say I constantly with my drone videos I put up, people always say, oh, like, all this different things of like, oh, if only I had that drone you had, or like, if I had the shots, or like, how do I edit this? Or like, yeah, basically like what a lot of people oftentimes will ask, how do I edit on my mobile device? And you can edit stuff on your mobile device, but I would ultimately say, try to really learn a good computer editing software system or suite. Even if it's something easy like, iMovie or Windows Movie Maker, get to know it in and out, get to really know how to use it. And then that's going to make your videos so much better, because anyone can shoot, pick up a camera and shoot video. Not everyone can edit a video properly.
Yeah, that's so true. And, kind of on a similar note, I use actually Apple Keynote to make a lot of animations and motion graphics. I'm totally cheating and bypassing the more professional suites like Apple Motion or Adobe After Effects, so you can kind of use workarounds to get the shots and things you're looking for.
Yeah, no, that's really true. I think that's overall, though, it really is about just creating. Don't get tied up on what gear you have. I know it's really stupid of us as tech people to say that, don't get tied up on what gear you have, but ultimately that's the truth. Use what you have. You can dream about, if I only had this, and you can save up to that in the future, but for the time being, don't hold off creating. The video that you upload today, you're going to look back on in 5 years, no matter what gear you had today, and be like, wow, I've learned so much from then. I mean, that's what I always do. Even though, I thought, the video I shot yesterday was really good. And then, all of a sudden 2 years from now, I'm like, oh, wow, what was I thinking?
Right. And another great strategy is looking on YouTube, finding people you like, and kind of identifying why you like their content, and kind of looping back to audio for a bit. Casually Explained. He's using like terrible animations. It's just like the quality of the video is poor, but the quality of the content, what he's talking about, and the actual audio quality is very high. So that's really a unique aspect he brings to his videos.
Well, and that comes down to actually kind of a bigger thing of being successful on YouTube. It's not really about how high quality of your video, video production is or whatever. It's really about the story you're telling, how you're telling it, and that's what's gonna keep the viewer gonna draw them in. Yeah, you might have to do a little clickbaity title and the thumbnail that says, "Oh, free iPhones." No, don't do stuff like that. But you might have to do some way to get them in. Put some good wrapping on the package. But ultimately, once you get them watching your video, even if you don't have the best audio and video quality, it's that quality of that content. That they're gonna save.
I think people are really looking for either something that's very informative, that has the information they're looking for, or something that's very entertaining and something that keeps them interested and engaged.
Yeah. So, that's really it. If you have a good idea, don't hold back till you get that new camera. Don't wait till you save up to get that new drone. Just go out and create the thing, and help sharpen your creative tool and your creative mind and your craft, because that's ultimately is the more valuable thing than any tech product or gear out there.
Absolutely. And I think that's all we have for the show today.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to episode 3. If you aren't already subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Google Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Podbean, and eventually we'll be on Spotify, please consider subscribing on one of those or all of those services if you really want an overload of our bi-weekly podcasts. And give us a nice rating, 5 stars, thumbs up, whatever they do on each platform. Also, we are on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd very much appreciate you considering to follow us on one of those, and actually following us, not just considering it, because considering it doesn't give us that nice dopamine hit when we see, we got that extra follower.
That notification that hits our phones.
Oh, baby, we got that extra follower. Yes. Yeah, So follow us on that for not getting overloaded. We upload stuff to those or tweet out stuff not so often, so you won't be filled up, but
you'll get what you need in little tidbits.
Just a right amount of a pinch to zoom.
Absolutely.
And what is that handle that we have?
Pinch to zoom pod.
Yeah, that's right. I was quizzing you. I actually did. I totally knew it and totally remembered it. Yeah, it's pinch to zoom pod on Twitter, pinch to zoom podcast on Instagram, just because they have the ability to add more characters. And on Facebook, if you still use Facebook, it's pinch to zoom podcast, just spelled out normally, because that's how Facebook works. So
great. So thank you for joining us for this episode today, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Yep. I'm Gabe.
And I'm Stetson.
Thank you very much for listening. Peace out. I end it like I end my videos, don't I?
I don't know. I've missed a couple of your videos, to be honest.
Oh, that burns so much.
Well, because it's been like camera comparisons.
All right. I'm done.
Okay.